LiveFit Nation, hello everyone. I am sitting here with Mike Baralt, that I'm sure you guys recognize from the workout videos.
Hello LiveFit Nation.
And we thought we'd mix it up a little bit this week. Do something a little bit different as far as the videos go. I had an interesting experience with Mike over the weekend. To try and put this concisely, you know, Mike has been with us from the beginning. He was one of the original participants in UKC. Here we are 10, 11 months later, and he is still at almost every workout, and he's really stuck with it through the weeks, through the months, and just has a really great level of commitment. And that was really like just shouted out to me this weekend because he gave me a call. He was signed up to do the half marathon in Long Beach and had a work conflict at the last minute and wasn't able to get out of the work thing, and so he couldn't run the marathon that he had registered for, or the half marathon. So instead of saying I'm not going to do it, he told me I'm going to get up on Saturday morning and I'm going to run that 13 miles. And his max run had only been, what, 7 miles?
7 miles to that point, yeah.
And so he got up in the dark at 6 a.m. in the morning, and around an area called the Back Bay by his house, he did a 13-mile run. And I met up with him 8 miles in on my bicycle and gave him a little bit of water and a little bit of encouragement. And he did an absolutely amazing job, and I was just really impressed that, you know, it's one thing to run a half marathon when you're at the event, got everybody around you and all the adrenaline and everything going, but to get up at your house by yourself in the dark, put on your shoes, and head out and have the commitment to do that, it's really, really remarkable. And so what I thought I would do is maybe pick his brain a little bit and talk to Mike a little bit about his level of commitment and maybe get some words of wisdom from him, if he dare give us some.
No pressure.
No, exactly. So hearing what I just said about, you know, the commitment, how things have gone over the last you know, several months, and how things have been with LiveFit, how do you do it? What is it that puts that drive and that level of commitment in you?
Well, I was thinking about it when you posed the question to me earlier, and what I think fits best is that we're all committed to something. You know, you're either committed to you know, life as a status quo, which many of us means sitting, or for me anyway, before I did LiveFit, for sitting on the couch and eating all the junk food I can get and watching every sporting event on TV and getting my TiVo thing, you know, filled up and back down and filled up again with all the shows I wanted to watch. So I was committed to that, and my result was, based on that commitment, was 280 pounds, you know, on my frame, and unhealthy lifestyle and raised health insurance rates and you name it. And so the alternative is we're committed to something, no matter what it is. And it's not good or bad or right or wrong. But I was committed to that. And now I'm just committed to something else. I wanted to put as much commitment into working out and having this support system around me and give it 100%, because that's what I was doing. But I was giving 100% to eating and sitting on the couch. So I made a commitment to myself in January that I was going to do whatever LiveFit had to offer, and as long as they would have me and let me show up and gave me, you know, access to the building, I would be here. And so it's paid off in dividends.
So what was your mindset with the 13-mile, with the half marathon, instead of just kind of dismissing it and saying, oh, I'll do it some other time? No one was really expecting anything of you. What drove you or pushed you to do it on your own? Well,
and that's a funny thing, is that your mind has a great way of reasoning. You know, it has a great way of reasoning with you. And that morning of the thing, my mind at 6 o'clock in the morning, it was dark out, and my mind is telling me, just do 5Ks this week. You know, you can run 30 minutes a day all week and still have somewhat of your commitment. And no, that's not the commitment that I made. And I think we all have choices that we make, and we all make it our point to keep our word when we give our word. If you were to give your word to Jason or myself or your kids or Alicia, you would give your word, you would be expected to be held accountable to that. Yet, every one of us, myself included, when we give our word to ourselves, it's okay to let that go. You know, it's okay to put off the thing to go grocery shopping, or your kid has something going on. It's okay to put yourself second. And I would argue that no, it's not. Your word to yourself is important. And I take my word to myself seriously. Not saying that I don't fail, because I do. I mean, my word to myself, it drops off sometimes, you know, absolutely. And I attempt to do it more often than not, 51% of the time.
And that's an interesting point. I know, the last 10 months haven't all been like, roses and weight loss and wonderful.
Oh, no.
I know you have your ups and downs, you have your struggles. What is it that helps you to push through those walls or those mental barriers that pop up?
Well, to be honest, what choice do I have? It's like, based on my choices and my knowledge of living my life to this point, I had evidence built for 34 years, or at least, let's say, 10 to 12 years of that 34 years of the way that I do things wasn't working. Plain and simple. It just was not working. And so starting to create new patterns and new thought patterns, it's a choice. It's a choice every day. And it's not that I'm going to say it again, it's not that it's good or bad or right or wrong. We all have choices we make every day, but what choices are serving this new way that I want to live versus the old way? And there are times when I completely fail in those choices. There are times when the fast food place wins. There are even now, even during LiveFit, even after the marathon or half marathon, there are bad choices that I've made since then. But the fact is to make more good than bad, and that's it. It's all about balance. I had 34 years of living a life a certain way. They're not going to change overnight. You're not going to just decide today I'm going to be a different person, and all of a sudden it is. Now, you could set, I think, a cause and effect situation into motion with making that decision, but nobody's the Hulk. Nobody is so fiercely committed to anything, I don't think.
So speaking directly to that, and you kind of touched on this, but over the last several months, I've been, I've seen this broad window into people's weight loss journey, and I've seen amazing successes, and then people who struggle and you don't hear from them anymore, or you don't hear from them for a couple weeks, and then they pop back up, and I know everyone has their own battles. So if you had the opportunity to maybe those people who are struggling right now or wondering, is this something I can do? Is this something I can start? And you had the opportunity to sit one-on-one and talk to them and give them some words of encouragement, what would you tell them to help them push past those doubts and those struggles that they have?
You know what? You don't need to know the how. Okay, you don't need to have the how figured out. You just need to know the why. The why and the what. You don't need to know the how. The how is here. The how is here and it's free. That's what's great. I hate to be a commercial for LiveFit, but I should be because I've had success with it. And the how is here. It's provided. Don't worry about the how. Just schedule in the time and make that first choice to do something for yourself today, to keep your word to yourself today. That's it. And then tomorrow, make another choice. Keep your word to yourself tomorrow. And then the day after that, and guess what? You start building this evidence that you can do it. And completing that marathon was building that evidence that I could do it. And it's the same thing with I don't care if it's picking up a kettlebell. When I first started kettlebells, the first exercises for UKC, I couldn't even lift a kettlebell. I had a back problem. I couldn't lift the lightest kettlebell. So it's all about making those choices and sticking with it. And you owe it to yourself. You're too important. You'll be a better parent for it. You'll be more creative. You'll feel better about yourself. You're going to be a productive member of your life, by taking that step for yourself. So you're worth it. Make the right decision.
Awesome. Well, that's what we're doing today. So thank you very much, Mike, for coming in. Thanks for letting us pick your brain a little bit.
Happy to be here.
And we'll close it up for now, and we'll see you back in another video soon. Have a great day, everyone.
See you guys later.